This is our finished look on the container here. Have a kale at the top, is nice and big, is giving us our thriller. And then we came in around the base with some pansies. I totally love this color here because we have a little bit of canary yellow, but then it fades off to a soft, beautiful yellow. Then we alternated with some cabbage. Cabbage heads are perfect, and it's absolutely beautiful the way the cabbage heads resemble a rosette. And then we have a kale. Where you look, we certainly have flowers that's popping out everywhere. On this side, we have a massive spilling of the pansies where they drape all the way down. And then we alternated with the different kales. So all the way around this container, you see nothing but the details of the plants here because it's going to be viewed from all angles. It's right here on this corner. This side right here, you can see we flop one in the back. And then we have our pansies that's gracing the side of it here. Just looking ever so beautiful. So all the way around the container, you can see the definition. This is what it looks like from afar. So then we have this monstrous kale at the top. All right, let's get it watered in. We have the container planted up. I'm very excited about how it turned out, and it's giving you a little bit of taste of how this area is going to be transitioned. Do you guys remember those hydrangeas that we propagated in the summertime? We went in, we took our cuttings. I told you guys it was very easy. It was a fail-proof method for propagating your hydrangeas. Now we're at the stage where I'm going to be fertilizing these, and I'll show you a few things that I have in bloom and answer one of the most asked questions that I get. Well, it's not the most asked, but one of the most asked questions that I get over here is, how do you have all of these plants in bloom right now at this time of year? Take you guys behind the scenes with me. We'll grab the hydrangeas and then we'll go and fertilize them. Welcome to my plant laboratory. No, you guys, you know I'm just off the chain. But you guys, welcome to my design studio. This is where a lot of things happen behind the scene. It's where I put different looks together, different colorways? Does this plant go with this? Am I feeling the vibe of this or that? And it's also one of the many rooms that I use to put things in and out of dormancy, so that way I don't have to rely as much on the local garden centers to bring in the plants that I need to make sure I always have a home inside and out with color. I mean, you guys, in the wintertime, you guys, we do beautiful arrangements in the wintertime. And so I always say that leaves for someone the opportunity to try to come in and plant check you and, you know, look behind the moss, look behind the gravel, the rocks, or whatever you decided to dress your container with, even if it's just a bouquet full of plants, and see, is it real? So this is where I actually have the hydrangeas at that we're going to be fertilizing. But I thought while we were in here, I would just kind of walk you guys through this area and just kind of show you a little bit of just behind the scenes of, you know, how I just always keep some type of plant in bloom. So like, for example, here is a beautiful cyclamen, you guys. We just did a beautiful arrangement, actually two. One was a YouTube short that we did, and in that arrangement we did a beautiful collection, and it was kind of a pink and white vibe, a pink and white feel, and I absolutely loved it, you guys. But I'll say all the time in my videos, you guys, this is how you save money. So when you want to buy those big beautiful concrete containers, you don't have to worry about stretching your budget as far, because you always have something in bloom. So if you need to put a container together just like that, because you have your good girlfriends or your good guy friends that's coming over to have coffee or take tea, or just come over just to stop by and see how you're doing, you can just put an arrangement together. And what welcomes someone better than a beautiful arrangement that's sitting on a table, on an entry foyer, or on your kitchen island, or on the kitchen countertop, or even on your table, you know, just having an arrangement that's gracing it. But isn't this beautiful, you guys? Start to save your plants, you will have absolutely beautiful, stunning arrangements with my African violets. And the sun is coming through, so let me put a shade up so we can see a little bit more of what's going on, because I think it might be a bit too much. I love to keep some type of African violet in bloom. I have African violets that consistently bloom for me throughout the season, and same for Gerber daisies, you guys. I did a beautiful arrangement where I took some amaryllis bulbs, I took some white Gerber daisies, and when I tell you, the comments was like, where did you find Gerber daisies at this time of the year? From my collection. And that's what I mean by, you know, if you're going to get into container gardening inside and out, then having the capability to go to your own stash and pull this plant out, pull that plant out, it leaves you in a position to where you don't have to necessarily rely on the garden centers to bring in what you're looking for. Because I'm telling you, you guys, I went to the garden center maybe about a few weeks ago, and I was asking them if they were going to bring this certain plant in. Now, certainly I knew it was too early for it, but of course I'm planning out content and so I like to plan my garden looks and some of the looks in my home, the majority of my looks, out the year before. So that way, if I'm looking for a plant, I know when to grab, when not to grab, however. So the lady was like, oh, we never have that in. I'm like, oh, well, I bought that from you guys last year. So she was just so convinced that I had not bought that plant from them. So she even brings somebody else up, like, oh, hey, let's say Stan, for all intents and purposes. Hey, Stan, are we bringing this in? He said, oh, actually, we have some in now. So it was like, mic drop, you know, but plant mic drop. So anywho, but that way you don't necessarily have to rely on the garden center to bring in the plants that you need. So with that being said, we have some hydrangeas here. Hydrangeas are going to be used in some of our arrangements throughout the winter time. These are the hydrangeas that we are going to be fertilizing today. I'm taking you all with me on the journey to get these hydrangeas from cut to bloom. And so with that being said, we're going to go in and I'm going to show you guys how I fertilize my hydrangea. A lot of you all, I know you have been following along with me on this journey, and a lot of you all are taking notes and you're saying, okay, at this time I go in and I do this. So by the time you guys see how we're fertilizing, it'll be time for you guys to go in and do your fertilization. As far as my plant stat, in order to have this, propagation is going to have to become your best friend. So like for example, we have this beautiful plant right here. Can you guys see that? I'm trying not to get too close because of the sunlight. So we have this beautiful plant right here, but I also have this plant right here. So this is a propagation of that plant. I've used this variegated foliage in several of my videos. You guys, I'm telling you, gardening is a luxury. I get it. Gardening is a hobby that can be more on the expensive side. But if you find ways to save money, you'll be able to, when you see and want to elevate and buy a container, you'll be able to take your budget and put your budget there. Trust me, it does not take a lot. And while we're at it, look at this. Again, yet another cyclamen that we put in a dormancy. I just did a video where I showed you guys some cyclamens that I had that were in dormancy. Here is another kalanchoe. I did a video where I showed you guys how to propagate your kalanchoe, and so that way it'll start off as a little small plant just by taking a simple cutting, and as you move it along, you progress it along, then you'll be able to make beautiful arrangements just like some of the ones that I've shared with you guys on my channel here. So African violets, I would say out of all of the African violets, this is one of my favorite. It's so delicate, it's so angelic, and we just did an arrangement with this African violet and some of the other African violets and some of the cuttings that you guys see here as well. Now, because my family and friends know that I am into plants, I request plants. I request containers, so that way in the back end it takes the expense for me. But I'm going to get off my soapbox. Look is always ever changing on the inside of my home when it comes to beautiful arrangements. So let's get the hydrangea that we came for and let's hydrate. Here's our hydrangea cuttings. We have these. Now let me go get the rest of the supplies that we're going to be needing to fertilize these. Let me turn this fan off. I have to keep a fan going in here at all times because I have plants in here. That way we have air movement. If you're having your plants and stuff indoors, just make sure you put a little fan on them, and that way it'll keep everything healthy. I got my watering can. I have a measuring cup, measuring spoons. I have some gloves. And I also have our fish fertilizer here. This is the fertilizer that I use, you guys, and I'm telling you, the growth that I see from fertilizing is going to be astronomical. With our first fertilization, we're not going to give them full strength. I don't even give them half strength. I actually got a peperomia leaf in there. That was the other plant that I had in there where I was showing you guys the propagation. And let me show you what the roots is looking like if we can get one out in whole. Let me see if I can find one where the roots is hitting the side of the pot. Okay, so can you guys see that? Okay, so we got our root system that's holding this together. And I'm just going to push this right back down in this pot just like this. Let's see. This one is on the bigger side. So anything that looks like it's dead, any leaves, you want to pull it off. Yep, this one has some real good roots. Let me hold this together because I don't want my soil falling away from the roots. Can you see the root system? We even got new growth here in the nodes. Can you guys see that? New growth coming out at the top. Okay, so now what you want to do before you fertilize, you want to go in and you want to hydrate your plants, okay? So I'm going to go in and I'm going to pour some water in the base here. And then I'm going to go in and water each plant in. And so like this plant right here has a leaf that's kind of withered away. We want to go ahead and pop that off, okay? And anything that looks like it's on the struggle bus, pull it off. So we're going to keep watering this in. Drop down in the comment box and let me know, did you take any cuttings? If you did, where are you in your hydrangea propagation journey? Okay, so now we have our water in there. And so what we're going to do at this point, right, we're going to come in, we're going to take our water, pour it inside of here. What we're going to do, this fertilizer, you got to shake it. Because your particles will separate. But you guys, if you're going to be getting into plant propagation, fish fertilizer, seaweed fertilizer, it's a few more that's going to be your best friend. We are going to use 1/4 of a teaspoon, this little bitty spoon right here. This is what we're going to use. And so we're going to come in and we're going to get the fish fertilizer and we're just going to put a little bit inside of this spoon. I'm going to take my 1/4 of a teaspoon and I'm just going to put it in there. Mix it in really, really well. Okay, so now what I do from there, because everything has been watered in, is going to go in to each one. I'm just going to give them a little shot of fish fertilizer. And actually, we're going to dilute this a little bit more. Now pour more water in this one so it can just flow through. So it can dilute the fertilizer that I already poured on there. Okay. I am going to let this sit in here for about maybe 10 minutes at the most, and then I pour all the water off, and then I am going to put these up underneath a fan for tonight. And the reason being is because technically it's getting dark outside, so we should have done this early in the morning so that way we don't put our plants to bed wet, right? So I'm going to put a fan on these, like a fan is going to be oscillating from side to side. And what the fan is going to do is going to keep that airflow going, so it'll be similar to if these hydrangeas just got some rainwater. Let these soak in. I'm going to make sure that I keep you guys up to date with how everything is looking with our hydrangea propagation. Drop down in the comment box. Let me know, are you propagating anything in your plant room? Let me know, do you have a plant room going? Drop down in the comment box. I would love to hear from you. And I'll make sure that I keep you guys up to date. I mean, these hydrangeas is loving their life. You guys, let me show you the growth that we have on this one right here. Look at that. So absolutely amazing, and this is what you want to be seeing from your hydrangea propagations. And actually, I'm not even going to put them in the plant room. We're using fish fertilizer. Remember, your fish fertilizer does carry a scent. So these won't be going back in the plant room tonight, but they will be up underneath a fan.